All right, New York Knicks offseason video, take 2. Don't you love when you're 8 minutes in and the video freezes? Gotta love that, especially at 11:40 on a Friday night and you want to go back watching Golden State Lakers. But we will do a 9 to 10 minute video here. We will get back to the game. New York Knicks have been eliminated. They are team number 24. 24 teams have been eliminated or start their offseason early. New York makes it to the second round for the first time since 2013-14. A good year. We're going to do a deep dive in their video here about kind of the offseason, what to expect. You can find their article on ESPN.com. You can find it on the NBA page. You can find it on their own team page here. Big picture. Right? We're going to look at a big picture, small picture. Big picture, 10-win improvement. As I said, first time to the second round since that Carmelo Anthony team that lost to Indiana in 2013-14. So, successful year here. You've got 11 draft first-round picks in the next 7 years. You've got tradable contracts here. You've got young players with Grimes and Barrett and, I put Toppin as young players, and Knicks fans go crazy. Barrett's younger. Oh, my God. Golly. Jeez. Relax. Grimes, your starting 5 is coming back here. You've got the continuity factor here. My big question is going to be, though, outside of Jalen Brunson, who is a star, I would take that guy in a foxhole any day of the week. A star. They're going to build a statue after this guy when his contract's over, whenever that is in New York. Does New York have a number 2 and number 3 on this roster? They got a number 2 during the regular season in Julius Randle. And they sometimes have a number 3 in R.J. Barrett. But when it's crunch time in the playoffs, do they have a number 2 and a number 3? And they don't, right? You've seen Julius Randle, All-NBA 2 years ago. All-NBA this year, continue to struggle in the playoffs. Shot selection, lack of self-awareness. I mean, we can go on here, on and on. R.J. Barrett, a nice player. Is he your number 2 or your number 3? He struggled in the playoffs also. So then you're looking at help from Josh Hart. Certainly Quickly was out. Toppin, guys like that. So when you're 2 guys who you think are your 20-point scorers, when you need them, they're not there. You're going to be eliminated in 6 games to the Miami Heat. That's the reality here. And I mean, this is the line I put in here as far as with, I said the loss to Miami opens up the question whether the roster has the upside to be more than a good regular season team. I mean, that's the reality of it. I mean, does it have the upside? I don't think it does. And there's nothing wrong about losing in the second round, but if the goal is to get to a championship, I don't see this roster developing enough with some of these players to get to where a conference finals and NBA finals here. Maybe I'm wrong here, but from what I've seen from Randall and what I've seen from Barrett, good regular season players, but there's a different mentality when you get into the playoffs here. And Barrett just signed that rookie extension. He's got 4 years left. He can be traded in the summer. Randall's got 3 years left on that big number there. Brunson, you've got 3 years left here. Your finances, you're in a good spot. This is the first time you're not under the salary cap in 4 years. Who cares? You're well below the luxury tax to use your 12.2 non-tax mid-level exception and also sign Josh Hart to a new contract. We'll talk about Hart in a minute. The likelihood is, and I would almost guarantee it, you're going to decline the Derrick Rose option. That's probably an almost guarantee because that would basically put you in the tax. You've got guaranteed dates for McBride, Jericho Sims got small numbers. Basically, they equal to about $4 million. I would expect both those players on the roster. As I said, you've got your non-tax $12.2 million exception to go out and use. Okay, your priority is figuring out a number on Josh Hart that makes sense. That a year from now, if you had to, you could still trade that number. You're not giving Josh Hart $20 million plus. you're out of your mind if that's the case. Hart has it's an interesting contract, $12.9 million player option. If he opts in, contract becomes non-guaranteed. So the likelihood is that Hart opts out, signs a new contract. One of the best offensive rebounding guards, overall rebounding guards in the league, is a utility player like a baseball player, can play shortstop, third base, pitch, maybe not pitch, first base, catch, can do all the little things, fills a tremendous role for New York. So what is a number for him? 4 for 70, 16, 17 in that range, keeps you under the tax and also allows you to use your non-tax mid-level, that 12.2 number. You could also have Hart opt in and then extend off that number. So the most you can go is 4 for 80. I wouldn't do that. That would give you some more flexibility under the luxury tax. So that is your off-season priority as far as figuring out what a comfortable number for Josh Hart is. I think your other off-season priority is probably seeing what the value of Julius Randle is going to be out there, what the value of R.J. Barrett out there. I'm not moving off them, but I think you have to kind of have open ears as far as what makes sense. Your off-season priority is basically a big off-season development from Quentin Grimes to be a legit number 2 starter and develop him from an offensive standpoint, because defensively he's off the charts, but there's got to be more to it than just that. Extension candidates to watch. Barrett was last year. This year it's Quickly and Toppin. I would say highly unlikely on Obi Toppin, because what's his role? Why are you going to extend him for $12 to $13 million? And what is his role on this team? And until you figure that out, you let him play out the 4th year. Quickly as a starter, 21 games, 23 points, 5 assists, 47% from the field. High level. They missed him. They missed him in this series once he got hurt here. What's the number for him? Is it 4 for 90? Is it a little bit more? Do you want to just play out the year? So he's the guy that kind of keep an eye on as far as from an extension standpoint. Team needs bench scoring. Reserves ranks 26th in scoring and 24th in three-point percentage. And as I said, your draft picks, you've got 11 first in the next 7 years. You've got, after this year, you've got all your own 7 first. You could have the Mavericks first this year if it falls out of the top 10. We'll know that Tuesday night, the night of the lottery. You've got a protected, if you don't get that pick, it's 2024 top 10 protected, 25 top 10 protected, turns into a second. You've got a first from Detroit that's top 18 protected. It's all in here. You've got a top 12 protected from Washington in 2024. You got a top 4 protected from Milwaukee 2025. So you've got the assets there to go out and make a deal. Although the Detroit pick, it's not good value. I mean, that pick will never probably turn into something. It turns into a second. But maybe that Milwaukee pick, maybe that excuse me, that Washington pick, that Dallas pick certainly. So all in all, big picture, stability in New York. There is roster stability. This is a legit playoff team. However, as I said, there's a difference between being a really good regular season win team and winning the first round to advancing here, right? You have the playoff mentality type players outside of Brunson on this roster. And I think the answer is, and I think in that Miami series it proved that you don't. Have a good night, everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well.